Coronavirus has hit New York City hard. Hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers have fled. Almost two-thirds of restaurant owners say they'll be out of business by January. Homelessness and crime are skyrocketing.
Real estate agencies see a record rise in rental vacancies, up more than 176%. That's shootings in New York compared to last year.
In Brooklyn, that's where police appear to be locked in a standoff with some protesters at the 88th precinct.
If you go and look at what's happened to New York, it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town.
Now, I haven't been into the city since the start of COVID a year ago, but I went into Manhattan for the first time since before the pandemic started to see if the city really is much worse off than before and whether or not two-thirds of the restaurants were shut down for good. My itinerary was simple. First go to Penn Station, then walk to one of my favorite pizzerias, take the subway to Greenwich Village to check out on the bar and restaurant scene, and then go to Washington Square Park.
Penn Station.
It's like thinking really hard about it.
Okay. This is weird. Penn Station looks a lot more different than I remembered. A lot of construction, I guess. Let's see. How do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? Okay, this looks like it might be it. That looks like it's it. Oh yeah, the escalators. Oh. All right. Let's see. Yeah.
What brand is that?
It's an Osmo Pocket, actually.
Osmo, really?
Yep.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, it's great. Yeah, you too. See, New Yorkers are friendly. Well, it certainly doesn't look dead to me. One, two, three, four, five, 6 taxis. Just like how there were before. Right here in Midtown. Everybody has been saying that the New York City is dead. Nobody's coming here anymore. The streets are empty. All doom and gloom. And I don't know what the hell they're talking about so far. Okay, so now that we're right here in Midtown. Oh, what's this? Oh, wow. The new Penn Station entrance, I guess, huh? Very cool. Still more or less as loud as it was. Nothing has changed too much. Alright, now I have to find which way is 9th Avenue. Then I want to go to my favorite pizzeria. One of my favorite pizzerias. 7th Avenue, 34th Street. I think it's this way. Tour buses are full? Almost. A lot more full than you'd think. Yeah. But one thing that I have noticed, compared to the rest of the country that's very different, is that everybody outside are wearing masks still. Now, I think the law is when you're out in public and social distancing cannot be possible, then masks are required. It has to be social distancing of 6 feet, but as you can see here in the city, very difficult to do that. So what I suggest you do is just keep your mask on like everybody else and follow exactly what the rules do. Look at this. So many city bikes not in use. Where are the tourists that are driving them all on the sidewalk? Look at this. And right here on the intersection of 27th and 10th, we go to Ovest Pizzateca, a Neapolitan pizzeria, which is ranked one of the best in New York according to Yelp. Alright, so let's go get some New York pizza. Let's see if they're open. Let's see if it's takeout only. I have no idea what to expect. I didn't call them in advance. Not exactly sure what to expect. Is that the High Line? Oh yes, I believe it is. Let's see. Not sure if they're open, but let's find out. At the time of this filming, New York City restaurants are only open at 35% capacity. That's why you don't see any tables and chairs in the middle of the restaurant. But I believe in the coming weeks it's going to be increased to at least 50%. Masks are required in restaurants, but as soon as you are seated, you can take it off. This restaurant has Neapolitan-style pizzas, the type of pizzas that are much more artisan, you know, the type of pizza that you would find in Italy. I ultimately decided to go with the Pizza Martha, as mozzarella, prosciutto, and truffle pate. It was absolutely exquisite. You could really taste the truffle in it. Now, normally you would eat this kind of pizza with a fork and knife. It really is fancy European-style pizza. But old habits die hard, and eventually I just grabbed it and ate it with my bare hands. Don't worry, everybody else in the restaurant is eating it the same way too. While it was delicious, it certainly wasn't cheap. It was $27.95 with tax and tip included. But that is the going rate for Neapolitan-style pizza in New York City. After lunch, I decided to see what the High Line looked like during coronavirus times, to see if it really is empty. But as I found out as I got by the entrance, you can only enter in certain sections, opening hours 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and you have to make reservations in advance. So I decided to skip it and go to Greenwich Village instead. Please stay 6 feet away markings. I really wonder during Manhattan rush hour how strictly these are enforced. Now, one thing that surprised me pleasantly is that they have a new Omni system at the New York City subway. On most of the lines, you can now pay by tap-and-go credit cards, debit cards, and also Samsung Pay, Google Pay, and Apple Pay. You just take your credit card out of your wallet or smartphone, and you just tap and go in order to enter onto the subway. It didn't accept my American Express card for some reason, as promised, but I'm American and I carry multiple credit cards with me, so I used my Visa. Oh, look at this here. What the heck? Alright. And for the first time stepping onto a subway platform in over a year, I noticed yellow social distancing markings all over the subway platform. Again, I wonder how strictly enforced social distancing is during Manhattan rush hour. But in any case, onwards to the end of the concourse in order to go downtown towards Greenwich Village. This track here goes uptown. Normally this station is a lot busier. Definitely not as many people as as before the pre-pandemic, but to say that New York City is dead is a complete lie. And just as I suspected, it is not at all crowded for a Saturday afternoon.
Clear of the closing doors, please.
Nice and warm. So just 2 stations until we get to West 4th Street. And then from there we'll be going to Greenwich Village.
This is West 4th Street, Washington Square. Transfer is available to the A, C, D, and E trains.
Exit.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
And after I left the subway station and went outside, I noticed it seems to look pretty usual. This doesn't look any more busy or less busy than it did 2 years ago. I decided to take a little walk around the village to see if it's more or less deserted than it was before. And also to see if 2/3 of all the restaurants and bars were indeed shut down for good. Alright. So here we are now in Greenwich Village. Let's see what this neighborhood looks like. Closed. Open.
Why don't we get you another one?
I heard this is an excellent pub, the Slaughtered Lamb. Now, I was walking around in this area at about 1:30, and I noticed that the majority of the bars and restaurants, while some were open, the vast majority were still closed. Not closed down for good, but just closed for business hours. Normally, from my research afterwards, they open at around 2 o'clock and stay open until 11. So that is probably why we are seeing so many open, unoccupied outside dining areas. Except this place. This place looked very busy compared to the other places for some reason. Huh. The Spaniard, that place looks like it's happening. So then after some exploration around Greenwich Village, at around 2 o'clock, as soon as it opened, I went to Down the Hatch, one of my favorite bars and restaurants in the village. They have an outdoor dining area, and you can also go down into the basement and dine inside at the bar. If you do go downstairs to the bar, you have to scan a QR code onto your phone for contact tracing. For extra COVID-19 cleanliness, they also have the menu available to scan with the QR code with your phone. Now, I did not know this before coming into the city, but drinking at the bar and eating at the bar is completely prohibited. So if you go to any bar or restaurant by yourself, you'll be seated by yourself at your own table, away from everyone else. Also during these times, in all of New York State, when you order a drink, you have to order food as well. So just getting one single drink can end up rather pricey.
Oh, that's really good.
So after a couple of drinks and a side of onion rings that I had to order, it ended up being about $36 plus tax and tip. So add about 25% to what you see here. Look at this. Look how many people are here. Outside, playing chess.
The objective of the game is to get the kings. Look at the pawn. Yeah, really.
Wow.
Yeah, you should be able to talk. You should talk to HR.
Amazing. So here we are in Washington Square Park. Look how busy it is. Everybody outside enjoying the nice weather. March 13th. Still quite a few people wearing masks. In most areas of the country, when you're outside, you don't have to wear it. But here, I understand why. There's a lot of very crowded. But everybody's still very good about wearing masks. Music. Oh my god, this is definitely not dead. Wow. This is Washington Square Park during a COVID-19 pandemic, and as you can see, it is definitely not dead. Probably even more livelier than ever, honestly. I haven't seen this many people here since one of the Pride parades that I went to 2-3 years ago. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe even more people are congregating here. Unbelievable. I just understand. Yeah. I really had a nice time taking a stroll through Washington Square Park. It really was the highlight of my afternoon. I would have loved to stay longer, but it was time to go back to Long Island. Well, from my experience this afternoon, the city definitely isn't dead, and it certainly is not a ghost town. Getting a bite to eat at a restaurant is still completely doable. Not much change except for the masks and capacity restrictions. Bars are, however, an underwhelming experience I found as a solo traveler. If you're traveling to New York City with a group of people, then it's completely fine. Just make sure to follow the proper protocols at each place and order the cheapest food item you possibly can as required by law. Be advised that you'll be using the QR code reader on your phone more often than you ever have. What really surprised me the most was how many people are enjoying the parks and green space during these times. I guess it had to do with the nice weather we're having that day, and combined with very long depressing winter of no indoor dining and takeout only services, while most of the country just had 50% capacity restrictions during the same time. But if you want to know my honest opinion, I suggest you wait until April to come into the city. By then the quarantine requirement will be removed to come into the state, and as more people become vaccinated, the restrictions will continue to decrease. Hopefully. I will continue to keep you all updated on the situation in New York, and maybe I'll make a video in April. Thanks for watching, be healthy, and stay safe.